So how do you make your retirement money last? This is the worry of so many people. Right now there are over 10,000 people a day turning 65. And for a lot of them, they're looking forward to not the golden retirement years, but the fear-filled retirement years, because you're worried about your money running out. Inflation has been running high. Things are getting more expensive. You go to the supermarket and, for $100, you don't even fill 2 bags of groceries anymore. It's crazy. So the question is, how do you make that retirement money last and truly have a golden years? So I'll tell you what I think is good news, but you'll take it for what you want. I think the first thing is really think about whether there's work that you can do that you could enjoy, that wouldn't be too stressful, that will bring you the money that you need and keep you engaged with life. Because let's face it, as we approach our retirement years, it doesn't mean we want to be put on a shelf and doing nothing. We want to still stay involved with life. And I found a really great solution for me, because someone asked me, starting a couple of years ago, like, oh, are you going to retire? And, I've done well, so I could retire a little earlier than most. And I thought about it, and I thought, no. And why did I think that? So I thought about it. I thought, I take a lot of enjoyment in completing a successful project at work, in accomplishing a goal. And I thought, I could play a lot of pickleball, probably very sore feet and knees if I did that. I could read a lot of books, but it doesn't involve a lot of interaction with other humans. And I thought, I'd really miss the challenges that work has, sometimes annoyances, but I'd miss that sense of accomplishment. And I also thought, as soon as I stop making money, at least the way my mind works, I'm just going to see sands, like an hourglass, just going through that hourglass where it's money, and I'm like, I have less money, less money, less money. I couldn't relax under that circumstance. That's just me. Even though I have substantial savings, I still would just not feel good about it. So I think that for a lot of people, the answer is finding work that you can do that is meaningful, enjoyable, not overly stressful, and that you can do. And I found a great line of work that I want to tell you about, and that may be for you, and if it is, I'll give you a way to go forward with that. I do this business called Overages, and what Overages is I help people that have lost their house to a foreclosure get a big refund out of that pot of money that was collected at the foreclosure. Now you might ask, well, how do you get a refund when you lose your house in foreclosure? Here's this little secret that took me years to figure out. When a property sells at a foreclosure auction, whether it's a tax foreclosure or a mortgage foreclosure, when the property sells for more than the amount of the debt, then that extra money is left over and the former homeowner is in a position to claim it. But they've got to put in an application to claim it. So you have a property that sells at, say, a tax foreclosure auction. An average house in America is about $400,000 these days. House is going to sell at that auction for $300,000, give or take a few dollars, because if a bidder at the auction gets a $400,000 house for $300,000, they're absolutely thrilled about it. And the fact is, though, that probably in terms of taxes that were passed due, it's probably more like $50,000. So if the house sells for $300,000, but they only owed $50,000, that means there's $250,000 left over that isn't accounted for. So the question is, who gets that money? And as a lawyer, I can tell you the answer to that is the former owner is eligible to claim the money. It doesn't mean they just send them a check. Government agencies always have their steps that you have to take to get through the bureaucracy, and that step is you just have to file a simple application. Not hard. You just basically fill in a form where you say, I was the owner of this property, it sold at the tax sale, there's this much money left over, and please give me a check. So it's not harder than that. It's a simple form to fill in. But homeowners generally don't fill in that form or claim that money because they don't know about it. They have no idea there's any money that they could claim, that they're eligible to claim. They think they sold my house, they keep the money. It just happens that that's not true. What actually happens is that money sits there waiting for the former owner to claim it, and if they don't claim it within a set time period, usually it's 3 years, can be a little shorter, a little longer, depending on the jurisdiction. But unless the owner claims that money, then the government just gets to keep it. So the government doesn't have any incentive to track people down or tell them about it. Instead, the government just keeps the money if they don't claim it. So the government kind of sits in their hands and doesn't say anything, and then can get the money. So what we do as a business is I get the lists of monies that are being held. They're public records lists, really super simple to access. So I get the lists of monies that are being held. That will have next to it the name of the former owner. I look up the former owner, get their contact information. Usually I'm going to end up, when I look it up through this process called skip tracing, I'm going to get their phone number, including their cell phone, their current mailing address, typically their Facebook address or any social media accounts they have, as well as their phone number and their physical address. So we'll send them letters, send them postcards, give them a call, reach out to them on Facebook with the good news that there's some money that they're eligible to claim. Now, we're not telling them exactly where the money is. We're just telling them there's an opportunity to claim this money. And then for the people that say, yes, I would like some help with this because we work for a percentage in our company. I want some help with this. You say, great. I'll send a notary over with the paperwork giving us permission to go pursue this. You send out your mobile notary and they give you the papers back and then you file the claim with the county. Not a terribly hard business. And most importantly, when you're thinking about your retirement years, it's a job that people can do or work that you can do really at as low or fast a level as you want. Like I have a woman named Janet that has been doing this for, gosh, it's got to be 5 years now. And she's helped people get millions of dollars. She's a widow, unfortunately. Super nice lady. She's a lovely, lovely person. She's a widow. She lost her husband and needed a way to make her way in the world. And Janet's a hard worker. She's a very talented, powerful woman. And she just dials for dollars. She picks up the phone, talks to people, tells them the good news. There's an opportunity for them to claim some money. Lots of them hire her. And like I said, she's recovered a couple $1 million for clients. She's made a wonderful living over all these years. And she has meaningful work to do. And she's not worried about retirement. Because let's face it, you could be blessed to live a really long time. And hopefully you will be, but you don't want your lifetime to outlive your money. That's bad. So this is work that you can absolutely do in your retirement. I have another gentleman named Patrick Patrick's a rock star. Now he only does 5 or 6 of these deals a year, so he's not overworking himself, but he does large deals. All of his deals that I ever see are $150,000 to $200,000 deals, every single one of them. And so he's generally making 30 to 40% of that money. So he's making really good money, does 5 or 6 deals a year. As a matter of fact, we're doing a deal together right now because we were both talking to the same homeowner and I said, I'll just work with Patrick on it. This is great. And we just work together on it because there's such an abundance of opportunity. There are about 3,000 tax sales a day. So there's like very little competition. 70% of this money is never claimed because people don't know it. So we kind of work together on these things. And I'm looking to teach people who are good-hearted people that really, if it appeals to you to help people that have lost everything and to make a great living for yourself, and if you're willing to put in some effort, I'm not saying you have to work yourself to the bone, you don't. You just need to spend time talking to people, telling them the good news, being real with them. When you're working this business, the biggest thing that's going to get you hired is building some trust and rapport with people. And what's worked for me with that is just talking to people. If I hear like a dog barking in the background, I'll say, oh, what kind of dog do you have? And they'll tell me like, oh, I have a German Shepherd. And I've had a whole bunch of different kinds of dogs, like maybe you have, you're a dog person. I had a Beagle when I was growing up. I had a mutt. I had Smelly Mutt, who you seemingly couldn't keep clean for whatever reason. I had a Rottweiler. I had a Greyhound, and now I have a German Shepherd. So I'm like man of many dogs. And what I found out is that dog people connect with other dog people. And so that's a way to connect. If you hear kids in the background, grandkids, you talk to them. You just connect like you would if you're at church on Sunday or going to a football tailgate or going to any social event. It's the same way. You make that connection with people. And when they decide, you know what, this sounds like a crazy, I don't know how I could be owed any money, but you seem okay, so we'll give it a try. Why not? Because there's no risk to them. The offer is that you'll go and work to get the money. If you get it, you get paid a percentage. If you don't get it, it doesn't cost them anything. So it's a really nice business. And I think it's a great business, again, for retired people, because also, they're not going to be discriminating against you because you're older. Because let's face it, that's a real thing. As we get older, get over 50, it's hard to find a job. And as an older person, you are experienced in relating to different kinds of people. And you also do not fit the profile of a scammer, because the biggest challenge that I find in this business is establishing rapport and trust so that they hire you. And when you're an older person, you don't fit the profile of the scammer, so people listen to you better. And you can do really great work. And most importantly, you can have this retirement like Patrick does. And Patrick's doing 5 or 6 deals a year, not overworking himself. Last summer, he got an RV and drove the grandkids all over the American Southwest. He was like in every national park that I know of down there. And he's like, I had my cell phone, so people called back, I could talk to them. He said, I'd check my email, but didn't have to do a lot. It's perfect. It's really a great business. And I think it can keep you engaged and involved with life. So for me, I have no plans to retire. I could retire today. I have no plans to because I want to stay engaged in life. I want to stay active. I don't want to be that guy that turns into a turnip sitting on a shelf. That's not my idea of a good time. So I would say when you're worried about money and retirement, just think about retire from whatever you're doing. You can start taking Social Security and all that stuff. It's better if you delay it, but you could. But think about starting a business like this where you can do it where there's not a big investment. For example, in the overages business, you don't need an office. You need a cell phone and internet connection, and it's really helpful to have a computer. You could do it with an iPad too, but it's really helpful. So it's not a lot of equipment, not a lot of expense, and you're not like doing advertising or anything like that. You're just getting the public records list. You're skip tracing people, which you can do that for $35 for a month's worth of skip tracing to support your whole business, and no big overhead. And just talk to people, and you can just, as I say, just go dial for dollars. Some people will hire you, some people won't hire you. Don't worry about it. You can't help everybody. But the people you do help are going to be truly grateful forever that you came into their life and you helped them when they were down, and you'll be having a great life too. So I think the answer to me to having the money in retirement that you want, to have a truly golden retirement, to do the traveling, to do things like Patrick did where he rented the RV and drove around the American Southwest. That to me is just this great visual with him with his grandkids showing them the country. Just amazing, absolutely amazing. So I hope that can come true for you too. So if you want to know more about this, the next step, pretty simple. What I would say is I recorded a short 7-minute intro to the overages business video. You can go check that out. At the end of that, there's also an invitation for a longer, like in-depth examination of this business I did. It's probably an hour or so for that one. And then if you're interested, I offer educational materials. We do live events. I teach this business. I support people in this business. I want you and other good-hearted people in this business, assuming you're good-hearted. If you're not good-hearted, please don't even just hang up now. You don't need to watch any more of this. But for good-hearted people, if it appeals to you to help people and make money and have an amazing retirement all at the same time, then please come in. I want to get you involved in the business. I want to have you helping these thousands of people that lose their houses every day to tax sale get money back they're otherwise not going to get. Because the government statistic is 70% of the people don't get their money. 70% of people, that money is just forfeited to the government. 30% of the people get their money. So I want to make that better. And the way I do that is by helping people like yourself interested in making more money get into this business. So I will support you and teach you, educate you on it. Just take the next step. So if you like this video, just give it a thumbs up. That way I'll know that you want more content like this and this was something useful and beneficial. And if you want more content like this, I'm always talking about entrepreneurship and tax sales and things like that, and ways that you can be the captain of your own financial ship. Then subscribe to the channel. I'm always putting content that I hope is interesting and useful. But most of all, whatever you do, I just wish all the best for you. You're obviously looking at retirement, so I wish you amazing, amazing retirement years filled with health and joy and connection and just doing the things that maybe you didn't have time to do when you were working full time. So bless you and God bless you. Go forward and be successful, and wish all the best. So this is Attorney Bob Diamond signing off for now.